Sunday night, everybody. Welcome back to another video. And in this video, I'm going to finally give you my thoughts on Deadpool, Deadpool 2, Logan, and Deadpool and Wolverine. Oh, don't worry, I will talk about Deadpool and Wolverine. So, I did a mini rewatch of these three previous movies to prepare for Deadpool and Wolverine. So, let's talk about them in the span of 10 minutes or so. So, let's do this. First movie I watched was Deadpool, of course. This was released on February 13th, 2016. You know why I remember that? Because it was Valentine's Day. Yeah, pretty much. So, this movie was a gamble from the start. The way they portrayed Deadpool and X-Men Origins Wolverine, everybody hated it. So, Fox decided to take a stab at this character again, and this was perfect at how Deadpool really is. He's definitely the merc with a mouth. So this is essentially about Wade Wilson, who is a mercenary, and he develops cancer really badly. It almost kills him. So he is enrolled in like the Weapon X program, and he believes that they can cure him of his cancer. Well, they give him regenerative powers, so Deadpool cannot die. But he wants to get revenge on the person who did all this to him, Ajax / Francis. So, along the way, he meets Colossus and Teenage Negasonic Warhead, or whatever her name is. So they form a friendship, and they stop Ajax from doing his evil deeds. Not to mention, this intro is fantastic. They play Angel of the Morning by Juice Newton, and it's the weirdest song to pick for this intro. They get weirder in the other two movies. But I really do enjoy this movie. It's very crass. It's definitely the way that Deadpool should have been. So, yeah. But what really does bother me about this movie, it's like 85% flashback and 15% story. So you get a lot of the origin of Deadpool, which I mean is fine, but you're barely in the present in this movie. I mean, you do get Deadpool and his love interest here and there, but then it switches to like the present day. So Colossus and Teenage Negasonic Warhead is barely even in this movie. And not to mention, Colossus is in his uh, metallic state the entire time. So he's just a big old CGI monstrosity. But I really do enjoy Deadpool and Colossus's banter between each other. This is a hilarious movie, but I'll get into which one I prefer. So stay tuned for what I think about the other two. But I would ultimately give this an A at best. It's a great origin story, but needed a little bit more of Colossus and Teenage Negasonic Warhead. Teenage Negasonic Warhead. Whatever I've been saying. But that was Deadpool. And then I rewatched Deadpool 2, which this movie is more bonkers than the first one. It's more hilarious, and don't even get me started with what song they picked for the intro here as well. 9 to 5 by Dolly Parton. Weird. And then that intro ends on the apparent death of Deadpool's love interest, and they set the scene for a song called Ashes by Celine Dion. So, yeah, it's very bizarre. And then this intro itself is kind of like James Bond-esque. So, Deadpool is on the run from Cable here, played by Josh Brolin. But Cable comes back from the future, and he wants to stop this kid mutant before he kills his family. And the kid mutant is named Russell, I believe. So he has like the power to like throw fireballs and contain all types of matter. So he's a very dangerous dude. Well, Deadpool and Cable do team up to try to stop him. And they do. But I cannot forget to talk about X-Force. My God, that is like some of the most hilarious, useless stuff I've ever seen in a movie. So, there's a ton of cameos in here. There's like Terry Crews. There's Brad Pitt. Yeah, there is Brad Pitt. He plays the Vanisher. And you see him very briefly. But Deadpool and the team decide to go after Cable. Well, the winds were horrible that day when they made the dive out of the helicopter, and the whole team dies horrifically and hilariously. So he also recruits a random dude named Peter, and he is like the only dude that Deadpool cares about. But it's some of the most hilarious death scenes I've ever seen. It's a riot, and I really enjoyed rewatching it. But Domino here was the only survivor. Her power is based on luck. So she makes it down, and near the end of the movie, Cable comes in to team up with them to stop Russell from becoming a killer. But Deadpool kind of like sacrifices himself, and it takes him a while to die because he regenerates. So it's kind of over dramatic there, but Cable does turn back time and saves Deadpool and his love interest. And the way this movie ends is literally poking fun at Ryan Reynolds' movie choices, played by the style of If I Can Turn Back Time by Cher. I'm like, what is this? So, in the credits, he like literally goes back to X-Men Origins Wolverine and literally shoots the Deadpool variant. And he just tells Wolverine, one day we'll team up. And then Deadpool sneaks behind Ryan Reynolds while Ryan Reynolds is holding the Green Lantern skit and gives him a headshot. Oh, it's so good. And then the last part of these credits is probably going to upset a lot of people. He actually goes back to where Adolf Hitler was born, but he doesn't kill him. He just he thinks that Adolf Hitler is crabby because nobody changes him. Oh, it's so good, but so weird. But I really do enjoy this movie quite a bit. In my opinion, I think it might be better than the first one. Come at me, but stay tuned for my thoughts on Deadpool and Wolverine. I'll definitely tell you which one I like out of the three. So I would honestly give this an A as well. So that was Deadpool 2. And the final movie I watched preparing for Deadpool and Wolverine. Not a comedy in the slightest. No. I revisited Logan, and this is a very bleak, depressing film. I mean, this takes place in like the distant future, and Logan is now old man Logan. He is very disheveled and really tarnished. So he just like lives in this apocalyptic wasteland, and he takes care of Charles Xavier while Xavier has like Alzheimer's. I mean, it's really sad to like even look at Charles Xavier in this movie. He just like has all these delusions, and Logan just takes care of him until the inevitable death of Charles Xavier. Huh. This thing's already making me cry. So, not to mention, this is a very hard R rating. I mean, this is Logan at his most brutal. So, along the way, Logan is kind of like a loner, and all he does is just keep Charles Xavier alive. But very soon, he meets like this Hispanic woman who's on the run from a villain named Pierce, which is played by Boyd Hawkins. And he's part of like the Weapon X program. He clones certain people that have the Weapon X gene. So, this Hispanic woman has a kid with her that is very much known to be Logan's long lost daughter. X-23, played by Daphne Keane. This character has a lot of layers to her. She's very quiet throughout the movie, but she does develop a relationship with Logan. And Logan doesn't like her at first, but near the end, where they finally meet up with the other mutant children, there's like this scene where he just breaks down. He says, "I suck at this. Everyone I love just dies in front of me." Whew, man. That was hard to watch. But as this movie progresses, we learn that Logan is pretty much the last of the X-Men. All the mutants are dead. That's literally what makes this movie so depressing. But there's also the addition of like a family who helps Logan and Charles Xavier and X-23. And they just form like a relationship with this family. But Boyd and his convoy come up to their house and they're hiding a Wolverine clone, which is a lot younger and a lot more powerful than Logan. So this climax is extremely heartbreaking. Logan and X-23 do make it to North Dakota, I believe it is, and they do meet up with the mutant children, and they try to get them across the border to Canada to freedom, but the Wolverine clone is just more powerful than Logan. I mean, he does have like this little antidote with him that makes him partially stronger for a minute, but it just wears off and Logan just gets impaled on a tree. And the last 10 minutes just had me bawling, man. 17 years of Hugh Jackman playing Wolverine. This was the most heartbreaking superhero movie death of all time. I mean, even harder than Infinity War, because, you know, all these characters came back. But this is the storybook ending to Logan, the real Logan that started off in X-Men. And it was just hard to watch. But I really, really love this movie, despite how bleak and dark it is. It's just a really powerful story of relationships and loss. So, probably one of my all-time favorite superhero movies of all time and easily my favorite X-Men movie. So I would give Logan an A plus. I love this movie. So those are my thoughts on Logan. And the moment y'all been waiting for, and I'm already over time, but I don't care. Deadpool and Wolverine. This was my most anticipated movie of the year, hands down. And my God, did it deliver. So, this is bringing Deadpool and Wolverine together for one last fight. And you also have like the addition of the Time Variance Authority, which was introduced in Loki, which I did watch, so I wasn't confused. But they just like keep watch of like all the timelines throughout all the different Earths. So Deadpool is on Earth 10,050 or something, and Earth 616 is the sacred timeline, which is the MCU we all know and love. So the TVA recruits him to save the sacred timeline, and there's just cameos galore. I won't give away any cameos, but I will say that you see flashes of the Avengers, and that is really, really awesome to see. But the way this thing kicks off might be my favorite movie opening in the last 10 or so years. So this picks up directly after Logan. And it's about like 5 or so years later, which already makes no sense because Deadpool would have traveled to like the future, and he goes to Logan's grave and he tries to see if he's still alive. He digs him up and he's pretty much dead. So it's literally his adamantium skeleton. Well, the TVA arrive, and you have the best rendition of NSYNC's Bye 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 I've ever seen in film, ever. I don't think you're ever going to get a scene like that in any other movie. So, Deadpool just like dishonors Logan's memory and just takes his skeleton apart and just rips through these guys. That's the tone of this movie. And it might be Deadpool's most over-the-top rendition. And I loved every single minute of this movie. But it got a little bit slow with Deadpool out of his costume. I mean, it's not throughout the entire movie, but it's about like maybe 15% of this movie. He claims that he's done with crime fighting, but the TVA recruit him to the sacred timeline. Well, he has to go find help, and he goes throughout all these different dimensions to find a perfect Wolverine. Well, he found like the worst one. So there's a bunch of bloodshed and lots of claws and guns and swords until Deadpool and Wolverine do become best bubs. So, what's really gonna make a lot of people happy are all the cameos. Man, there were some cameos that I was predicting, and there were some cameos that I had no idea that they were gonna pull off. Every single one of these cameos worked perfectly. So, the cameos in here worked a lot better at Multiverse of Madness. So, you basically have like Fox Marvel characters show up. And one that I was like over the moon excited to see. So, all of these characters do meet up in the Void, which is kind of like a Mad Max universe, which was pretty cool looking. And they go up against Charles Xavier's twin sister, Cassandra Nova. And she is kind of like the main antagonist, but he do also have like a secondary antagonist that works at the TVA that doesn't want Deadpool and Wolverine to save the timeline. But Cassandra can like literally collapse all these timelines. So it's up to Deadpool and Wolverine to stop her before all their timelines die. I know that could be a very simple story, and I know a lot of people said that the story in here wasn't all that good, but I didn't care about all that. I just wanted all the cameos to happen, and these cameos just worked out perfectly. Guys, I love this movie, and it's easily one that I really do want to re-see. So, Abigail might have a run for its money, because that is my favorite movie of the year, but I think this one might very well overtake Abigail as my favorite movie of the year. So, I would give Deadpool and Wolverine an A+. Easy A+. And I think this is my favorite Deadpool movie. So, it's more rewatchable. It's more hilarious. The cameos are just going to put a smile on your face. And you'll see all the Deadpool variants as well, which was really dope as well. So, I really do enjoy all four of these movies. So, thought I'd give you some thoughts. Okay. That's all I got for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. And, this week, I got my wrap-up videos to do. So, I got what I read in June and July, and the movies I watched in June and July. Because I didn't do a wrap-up for June, so I decided to just mash them both together. So, I'm aiming for at least Wednesday to do one of those videos, but I got a car appointment, so we'll see what happens. But Trap also releases on Friday. I'll definitely have a review out for that. So it's pretty much all that's coming in the next few days. But Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I wasn't as crass as Deadpool, because he is very crass, but I smell what you're stepping in, Sensei. Adios. Peace.